Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Tweet All About It. This week we're talking about controversial decisions, half and half scarves and much more. So without further ado, let's kick off episode 6. Since we last spoke, we lost 2-1 to Chelsea, reigniting the VAR debate once again with the most bizarre decision that we've seen so far. Cornet's late equaliser was disallowed for a supposed foul on Mendy as he dived at Bowen's feet. Rice called the decision an absolute disgrace, while Moyes called it a scandalous decision. This has sparked the debate as to what the issue with VAR really is. While it has worked in other sports, the same issue remains, and that is the fact that ultimately it still comes down to the personal opinion of a human. In this instance, it was strange that it was sent to VAR after giving the goal in the first place, and while we know referees do have a tendency to change their minds after going to look at the screen, there was not one moment where I actually thought that it could be chalked off. While that did stop us coming away with any points, our form does look to be improving following a 3-1 win against Steaua Bucharest. In the first half, we played some fantastic football. Our passing looked as though it had improved dramatically. However, we failed to be clinical enough. But in the second half, a converted penalty from Bowen saw us put a stop to their time wasting, with Emerson and Antonio finding the back of the net to push us to the top of Group B. While it was a great team performance, Flynn Downs was a player that really stood out for me, looking calm and composed on the ball, and, as you can see from these stats, he barely put a foot wrong all night. Coming on for the second half, Michail Antonio puts on an incredible performance, having 100% dribble success and winning 100% of his ground duels. He even won us 2 free kicks, which was an unusual surprise. We've all seen the people outside the stadium selling half and half scarves, yet I don't think I've ever seen a person actually purchase one. Last week we asked in what circumstances you would buy a half and half scarf, and the answers were exactly what I expected. Simply put, a half and half scarf is acceptable in very few situations in life. This includes buying one for children or as a souvenir to remember a particularly special match. I went on to ask people on Twitter how cold they would have to be to wear a half and half scarf, and it turns out that most people would rather do almost anything than be seen wearing one. There is also clearly a scale of how bad a half and half scarf can be, depending on the team printed on it. We did, however, come up with genius ways to hide the half that we don't like, but as much as you can hide the other half, Tony, deep down, you know what you're wearing. There were far too many brilliant answers to include for this, but I can confirm that it looks as though the sale of half and half scarves is not set to grow anytime soon. We had 2 correct predictions for the Steaua Bucharest game, including Lee and Rich, aside from the Scamacca goal. Well done to both of you. It's time for the fantasy football update. It turns out you're all really good at fantasy football, meaning I'm currently clinging on to 72nd position in my own league. Thanks, guys. We have some new players entering the top 10 this week, with Robin Beckwith climbing to 3rd, Matt Smith still doing well in 2nd, and Stephen Cowley at the top of the leaderboard. There are still very few points separating the top spot, so I reckon we could see some new players make their way onto the leaderboard before long. Tweet of the week is one that made me laugh. Somebody pointed out that Liz Truss bowing actually looks like somebody heading a ball back to a keeper. When I tweeted about it, I had this very West Ham response. This week we are asking for your football match meal deals, so comment below with your choice of food and drink on a game day, and I'm going to be rating them in the next video. That's all from episode 6, so comment below with your match day meal deals, tag me in your favourite tweets to get them featured, and until next time, come on you Irons.